The video I'm about to show you, it took me 20 minutes to do it all, but I've had to edit it down to 10 minutes. But I will post a link just up there somewhere. You click on that link, that will take you to the Wikipedia, and you'll see the amount.
One last time, folks, the scoffer, you know what they're going to do. They're going to take a look at this passage, and what are they going to say? Wars, what's the other word? S'mores, I'll give you a good one. Wars, come on, take a history class, right, again? Okay? We've always had wars. Give me a break. There's nothing significant about that stat at all. Are you kidding me? People, we've not had wars like we've seen in the last century alone. It's the first time in man's history they've escalated to this point. In the last century alone, folks, we've seen nothing short of an explosion. Not just wars, worldwide wars. For instance, get this, folks, more people have been killed by wars in the last century than in any other time in mankind's history. In fact, prior to World War I, war had never been universal on that kind of a scale. But not only we had how many of them? 2, and wait a second, folks, we'll get to it in a bit. We are headed for number 3. But after the second one, which remember that, folks, if you're history buffs, it was supposed to be the war to end all what? Win all wars. You heard the story. Ever since World War II, get this, folks, just World War II, we have had 150 major wars. Yeah, it'll make you freak out just like that. I'm telling you, how the bounds of days. 150. Get this, in 1993 alone, there was a record major 29 wars being fought around the world in 1 year. That was broken 2 years later, for those of you hooked on math, 1995, with 71 wars in 1 year. The whole world, if you pay attention to the news, is what? They're getting geared up for war like never before.
In 1914 to 1918, World War I. In 1915 to 1934, the United States occupation of Haiti. In 1917, the Russian Revolution. 1917 to 1922, the Russian Civil War. In 1917 to 1918, the Soviet-Turkish War. In 1918, the Finnish Civil War. In 1918, the Georgian-Armenian War. In 1918 to 1919, the German Revolution. In 1918 to 1919, the Greater Poland Uprising. In 1918 to 1919, the Polish-Ukrainian War. In 1918 to 1920, the Georgian-Ossetian conflict. In 1918 to 1920, the Armenian-Azerbaijan War. In 1918 to 1920, the Estonian War of Independence. In 1918 to 1920, the Lithuanian to 1923. In 1919 to 1923, the Turkish War of Independence. In 1919, the Third Anglo-African War. In 1919, the Portuguese Monarchate Civil War. In 1919 to 1920, the Italo-Yugoslavia War. In 1919 to 1920, the Polish-Soviet War. In 1919 to 1920, the Hungarian Revolutionary War. In 1919 to 1921, the Irish War of Independence. In 1919 to 1921, the Greco-Turkish War. In 1919 to 1926, the Third Reich War. In 1920, the Polish-Lithuanian War. In 1920, the Second Siamese Uprising. In 1920, the Turkish-American War. In 1920, the Zili Army War. In 1920, the French-Syrian War. In 1920 to 1921, the Gundar-Guxi War. In 1921, the Red Army invasion of Georgia. In 1921, the Third Silesian Uprising. In 1921 to 1922, East Karaman Uprising. In 1922, the Versili Veteran War. In 1922 to 1923, Irish Civil War. In 1924, August Uprising in Georgia. In 1924, the Second Saudi Sharif War. In 1924, the Second Zali Vegetarian War. In 1925, the Petrich Incident. In 1926 to 1927, the Northern Expedition in China. In 1927 to 1933, the Nicaraguan Civil War. In 1927 to 1949, the Chinese Civil War. In 1929, the Afghan Civil War. In 1929, the Soviet-Chinese War. In 1929, the Lapium. In 1930, the Central Palins War. In 1931 to 1932, a Japanese invasion of Mutri. In 1932, the Inca Civil War. In 1932, the Shanghai War. In 1932 to 1933, 1935, the Chico War. 1932 to 33, the Colombia-Peru War. In 1934, the Australian Civil War. In 1934, the Saudi-Yemeni War. In 1935 to 36, Second Italo-Absyrian War. 1936-1939, the Spanish Civil War. In 1937 to 1945, the Second Sino-Japanese War. In 1938, the Chang-Frukro incident. In 1939, the Hungarian invasion of Kaparafol, Ukraine. In 1939, the Slovak-Hungarian War. In 1939, the Italian invasion of Albania. In 1939, the Soviet-Japanese Board War. In 1939 to 1945, World War II. In 1939 to 1940, the Winter War. In 1940 to 1941, the French-Thai War. In 1941 to 1942, the Ecuadorian-Peruvian War. In 1941, the Anglo-Iraq War. In 1941 to 1944, the Continuation War. In 1944 to 1949, the Greek Civil War. In 1944 to 1945, the Lapland War. In 1945 to the 1950s, the Guerrilla War in Baltic States. 1976 to April 2005, the insurgency in Akesh. In 1975 to 2002, the Mozambican Civil War. In 1975 to 1975, the Libyan-Egyptian War. 1975 to 1978, the Ogaden War. 1978 to 1978, the Southern Lebanon conflict. 1978 to 1979, the Uganda-Tanzanian War. 1976 to 1987, the Chad and Libyan conflict. In 1979 to 1979, the Sino-Vietnamese War. 1979 to 1978, the First Civil War of Chad. 1979 to 1989, the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. 1980 to 1992, the Shaudan Civil War. In 1980 to 2000, the internal conflict in Peru. 1980 to 1988, the Iran-Iraq War. In 1981 to 1981, the Parachute War. 1981 to 1986, the Luo War. In 1982 to 1982, the War of the South Atlantic. In 1982 to 1982, Israel invasion of Lebanon. 1982 to 1982, the Ethiopian Somalian border war. 1983 to 1983, the invasion of Grenada. In 1983, ongoing, the Sri Lankan Civil War. 1983 to 2005, the Second Saudi Civil War. 1984, ongoing, the Kurdish insurgency in Turkey. 1984 to 1984, the Shirkan War. In 1985 to 1985, the Agakar Strip. 1991 to 1991, the Gulf War, Persian Gulf War. 1990 to 93, Rwanda Civil War, Rwanda Genocide. 1990 to 1998, the First Tuareg Rebellion. 1990 to 2006, the Kazamat Conflict. 1991 to 1991, the Slovenian War. 1991 to 1992, the War in South Ossetia. 1991 to 1994, the Djibritian Civil War. 1991 to 1995, the Croatian War of Independence. 1991 to 2002, the Sierra Leone Civil War. 1991 to 2002, the Algerian Civil War. 1992 to 1992, the War of Transnistria. 1992 to 1993, the War of Abkhazia. 1992 to 1995, the War in Bosnia and Herzegovina. 1992 to 1997, the Civil War in Tajikistan. 1993 to 2006, the Burundi Civil War. 1993, ongoing, ethnic conflict in Uganda. 1994 to 1994, the Zapatashia Rebellion. 1994 to 1994, the Emil Civil War. 1994 to 1996, the First Charian War. 1995 to 1995, the Senepa War. 1995 to 1995, the Hanish Island Crisis. 1995, ongoing, insurgency in Ogaden. 1996, ongoing, Naxtal Moshes insurgency. 1996 to 2006, and the POW Civil War. 1996 to 1999, the Kosovo War. 1996 to 1997, the First Congo War. 1997 to 1997, the unrest in Albania. 1998 to 2000, the Ethiopia-Eritrea War. 1998 to 2003, the Second Congo War. 1998 to 1998, the Operation Desert Fox. 1999 to 1999, the Kagra War. 1999 to 2003, the Second Liberian Civil War. 1999 to 2007, the Itru conflict. 2000, ongoing, Second Chechnya War. 2000, ongoing, the Second Infidatilia War. 2001 to 2001, the Macedonia conflict. 2001, ongoing, the War in Afghanistan. 2002 to 2007, Civil War in Cote d'Ivoire. 2002, ongoing. 2003, ongoing, War in Darfur. March 2003, ongoing, Iraq War. March 2003, ongoing, war terrorism in Rashidistan. May 2003 to 2008, Islamic insurgency in Saudi Arabia. March 2004 to April 2007, the Central African Republic Bush War. 2004 ongoing Kharkiv War, 2004 ongoing Belachian War, 2004 to 2008 the Sadi insurgency, 2004 conflict in Niger Delta, 2004 the ongoing South Thailand insurgency. 2004 to 2004 the Ivanovich French War, 2005 to 2008 the Mount Elgon insurgency, 2005 ongoing the Fourth Civil War of Chad, 2006 ongoing the Mexican Drug War, 2006 to 2006 the Lebanon War, 2006 to 2007 the Fatah-Hamas conflict, 2006 ongoing the war in Somalia, February 2007 ongoing the Second Tuareg Rebellion, 2007 to 2007 Lebanon conflict, 2007 to 2008 civil unrest, 2008 to 2008 invasion of Anguajan. What I will add as well is that Israel's just entered another war with Lebanon. Watch the news tonight and you'll see what I'm on about. Plus we've got Iraq, Baghdad, Afghanistan, Pakistan, all these wars going on. So yeah, Jesus said that was going to happen and the Bible's true whether you like it or not.